Every industry is being disrupted, transformed by automation, intuitive consumer experiences, machine learning, and an explosion of connected devices. To keep up, your enterprise needs to move faster, but you can't. Outdated patterns of work are slowing you down. Customer requests, IT incidents, HR cases, all following their own paths within your enterprise, moving back and forth between people, machines, and departments. Unstructured, unimproved for years. But what if you could structure and automate these patterns to accelerate the flow of work? With the ServiceNow system of action, you can. The only cloud platform built for the entire enterprise, ServiceNow replaces the unstructured work patterns of the past with intelligent workflows of the future. Now, your enterprise works at Lightspeed. Now, any employee, customer, or connected device can easily make requests and get fast response. Now, teams working on those requests can assign and prioritize, collaborate, get down to root cause issues, and drive to action. IT can increase agility and lower costs by consolidating legacy tools into a modern, easy-to-use service management solution in the cloud. Security can collaborate with IT to resolve real threats fast, using a structured response engine to prioritize and resolve incidents based on service impact. Customer service can drive case volume down and customer loyalty up by assessing product service health in real time and working across departments to quickly remediate service issues. HR can consumerize the employee service experience with self-service portals and get the insights they need to continually improve service delivery. And any department can quickly build business applications to automate processes with reusable components that help accelerate innovation. Now, you can structure and automate the patterns of work, unleash productivity, deliver game-changing economics, and create an intelligent, connected enterprise. This is your business transformed. This is your enterprise at Lightspeed. ServiceNow. Work at Lightspeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President and Chief Executive Officer of ServiceNow, John Donahoe.
So good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's not that early. Good morning. All right. Welcome to Knowledge 17. We have 15,000 people here with us this year. 15,000 people in this room. How about that, huh? And you have come from all over the world. We have people from Australia and all over Asia. We have people from South and Latin America. We have people from Europe. We even have people from Chicago, where I grew up. How about a hand for the Chicago people, huh? Now, this is my first Knowledge, and I know it is for many of you. So how many of you is this your first Knowledge? Raise a hand. Okay. Well, you know, I thought it was important for all of us newcomers to be grounded in the past and talk a little bit about how we got here. And most of you know that Fred Luddy was the founder of ServiceNow. And I've had a chance to get to know Fred over the last year, and he is a remarkable person. He is a great technologist, a great guy, and an amazing listener. And Fred had a very simple vision when he started ServiceNow. Fred said that my vision was to build a cloud-based platform that would enable regular people to route work effectively through an enterprise. Very simple vision in 2004. And that has been the foundation on which this company has been built. Interestingly, Fred and I were talking about the first Knowledge in 2006. And Fred said, you know, we had this idea of doing a customer conference. And so we booked a room in a hotel that had a capacity of 50 people. And 30 minutes ahead of time, nobody was there. And he's thinking, uh-oh, this is maybe not a very good idea. And he said, over the next half hour, 85 people show up. The room is jammed. And he said, at that point, I tore up my presentation, and the magic started. Customers started sharing with other customers. Customers started teaching other customers. And he said, I realized then that our job as a company is to listen to our customers, listen to the problems that you're grappling with, and then go build good technology to help you solve those problems. And so Fred has said quite clearly, the mission of this company is to listen, to build, and to learn. And then repeat that over and over. And he said that first knowledge was the time where this community was born. And from 85 people 11, 12 years ago to 15,000 today, this community has been what has fueled this company's success, our success, and our joint and collective success. We cannot be successful unless you are successful, and we are very aware of that. Now, I know we've got a bunch of people, this is their first knowledge, but we also have some people that have been long-term members of this community in the audience today. So can I ask anyone that was either at the first, second, or third knowledge to please stand up? How about a hand? You all have been the pioneers that have helped lead this community, build this community, and we appreciate that and we value that. Now, I'm the new kid on the block. I joined ServiceNow April 1. This is my 49th day. And I thought I would just spend a couple of minutes giving you a little bit of background about myself. Let me start with the important stuff. This is a picture of my family 20 years ago. I like looking at it because it reminds me I haven't always been this old. And while I look a lot older, I can promise you my wife doesn't. And if you were to ask any of my kids who's the smartest person in the family, who's the nicest person in the family, who's got the best personality, they'd all say Mom. And as you can see, I've been blessed with 4 wonderful children. They're all grown now. They're all adults. In fact, I have a grandchild. I have a granddaughter. And you can see that I have 3 boys and a girl. And I no doubt share something with every father in this audience that has a daughter. How many of you men have a daughter? So I'm going to voice what I know all of you think, but probably can't say. My daughter is my favorite child. In fact, when my boys were teenagers, I used to routinely say, your sister's my favorite child. I love her more than I love you boys. Remember, I was a teenage boy once myself, and I know what you're thinking, and stop thinking it. And we all need to take care of your sister. So, seriously, she works for Google now, and I'm incredibly proud of her, but I'm proud of all 4 of my children. I've been blessed with a wonderful family. They keep me human, they keep me humble, and they keep me grounded. Now, professionally, I spent the first 20 years of my career at Bain & Company, a consulting firm, where I focused on business transformation, helping companies go through business transformation. And then 12 years ago, I joined eBay. And eBay, in so many ways, is so similar because it was a community-based company. The community of eBay users was the power of eBay. And it was at eBay I also learned a little bit about how you drive great user experiences through mobile technologies and other things. Now, my leadership style and approach I learned at Bain and eBay. In simple terms, I'm a deep believer in servant leadership. And what I mean by servant leadership, the focus is not on the leader. The focus is on serving you, our customers, serving employees, serving our purpose, and serving the communities in which we operate. You know, most people think of organizational models like a hierarchy, right? A triangle. CEO on top, rest of the organization underneath. The model that I learned and the model that I believe deeply in is the exact opposite of that. It's an upside-down triangle where you, our customers, are at the top of the organization chart. You are why we're here, and we're here to serve you. And everyone inside the company exists to help serve you. And the CEO, I'm at the very bottom of that organization chart. My job is to help our team help you. Now, the good news is I have broad shoulders, and I like that role. Now, my decision to join ServiceNow was an easy one. I was a customer of ServiceNow when I was at eBay, and a very satisfied customer. But as I've gotten to know the company more deeply over the last year, simply put, I fell in love with this company. I fell in love with its purpose. I fell in love with the technology. I've never seen a technology better architected for the future. I fell in love with the people, both the employees and the customers. And I fell in love with the opportunity of what is ahead of us, the opportunity to transform how enterprises operate. And so, a month ago, I dove in head over heels and joined April 1. Now, I'm not a 20-year enterprise software veteran, so my top priority when I joined was to do a lot of listening and a lot of learning. And the best place to learn about a company, or learn an industry, or learn good ideas for the future is listening to you, listening to customers. And so on my first day, I set what I thought was a bold goal. I said, I want to meet with 100 different customers during my first 100 days. And I set off on that journey. Well, I'm thrilled to tell you that I beat my goal. Last Thursday was my 45th day, and I met with my 100th customer. So I should be applauding you, because over the last 5 weeks, I've had the privilege of meeting new customers and long-term customers, big customers, small customers, in 10 cities across the country. And there was 100 different customers. I probably met 300-400 of you, many of you in this room today. And I learned so much. And I want to thank you for your time, thank you for your feedback, thank you for your insights, and thank you for your ideas. In fact, I want to dedicate my keynote this morning to simply playing back to you what I heard. And so, those of you that I had a chance to meet with, you remember, I asked 3 simple questions of you. I said, how are we doing? Secondly, and very importantly, where can we get better? And third, as you think about your future, what are your most important priorities? So let me just play back to you what I heard from you on each of those questions. On how we doing? You said, we love your product. In particular, ITSM has been a game changer for us. Second, you said, we love your platform. Its ease of use, the speed with which it can operate, the extensibility. And our sense is that platform still has more potential that we need to explore and discover and capitalize on together. And you said that you really appreciated our people, the people of ServiceNow. You described them as committed, responsive, they operate as a team, they aren't arrogant, they're hungry. And you emphasized how important it was for us to keep that culture as we get larger and more successful. And I want you to know, I appreciated that feedback, and the people of ServiceNow, we appreciate that feedback. But the next question I asked, which was the one that I was really fascinated and interested in, is how can we do better? Where can we do better? Because at the end of the day, we're only going to be as good as the feedback we get from all of you. And you were very generous with that feedback, and let me just try to share some of what you said. Probably the number one topic I heard went something like this. I love your platform, but increasingly, I want to get the full benefits out of the box of your software as you innovate and do new releases. And in particular, you said, you know, you guys have 5,000 customers worth of experience. I want you to be more proactive with what are best practice configurations, what are best practice integrations. Who's best in class? And share that with us so we can capitalize on the collective experience of this community. You also said that you want us to continue to invest in and develop a really strong and robust partner ecosystem, and that we need to have more trained and certified partners, trained in ServiceNow's products, particularly some of the newer products. And you gave a challenge to both us and to our partner ecosystem. You said you want to get the time to value be faster. You want to integrate more quickly and get to value as quickly as possible. And you challenged both us and our partner ecosystem to do that. Make sense? I see a lot of nodding heads. I heard that. The second thing you said was around user experience. And you were quite clear that the bar that you are now holding yourselves to and holding us to is no longer best-in-class enterprise software user experience. No, you talked about consumer user experiences, the kind of experiences that we all experience at home. And you were clear that, you know what? Consumers are employees and consumers are customers. And so increasingly, we need to deliver that kind of user experience in the workplace. And against that standard, you said, we have opportunity to improve. You said Service Portal and some of our mobile toolkits, great start. Great start in providing a better user experience for employees and customers. But you also were quite clear that the user experience for you, the fulfillers, had a little opportunity for improvement. We agree with that. And then last, you talked about how you want to share roadmaps with us. You were clear that you want to provide input into our roadmap, and you want to understand our future plans and our roadmap so you don't end up building an application that we then release 6 months, 12 months, 18 months later. And what you said was, you know, episodically and opportunistically, we have a chance to contribute to your roadmap and understand it, but we'd like you to be more systematic about it. We'd like you to form, whether it's advisory boards or executive briefing meetings or other ways where we can systematically contribute to your roadmap and understand it. So I want you to know that I heard this feedback. We heard this feedback. It motivates us. It excites us to understand where we need to get better. And you're going to see some progress against these topics over the next couple of days, but I will guarantee you we haven't solved them all. And you have my commitment and our commitment that we are going to focus on getting better each and every day. And a year from now, we can talk about these, and then there'll be the next set of issues where we need to get better. Now, the third question I asked you, in some ways, was the most important one, because it wasn't about the past, it was about the future. I asked you, what are your most important priorities? And here, I got an education of a lifetime. It was so interesting and exciting to hear. And here's what you said to me. You said, you know, historically, IT inherited a lot of legacy technology. It was slow, it was cumbersome, it was hard to use. And as a result, historically, IT has been very much of an internally focused function and in a very reactive mode. But you described to me how cloud and mobile are beginning to transform that. How increasingly you're adopting enterprise-wide platforms that are allowing you to be more agile, more responsive, respond faster. And as a result, IT is shifting from a reactive mode to being more of a proactive, strategic change agent across the enterprise. You talked about how you're transforming IT. But you also told me how you're being asked to play a larger role across the enterprise. You said, look, technology is disrupting every company and every industry in one form or another, and yet technology is an opportunity for every company. And you described how your leadership is talking about digital transformation, or creating a digital workplace, or digitizing the enterprise. Does that sound familiar? How many people have a company where that's the case, right? It's almost every company. And what you described to me was that the CIO is the most technology literate executive in the C-suite, and you are the most technology grounded group. And you're being asked to help lead that transformation, not just in IT, but across the enterprise. How exciting is that? It's a lot of hard work, but it's very exciting. And you said, you know what, John, we need help. Help me simplify and automate workflows, not just in IT, but across the enterprise. You said, help me deliver great customer experiences, both internal customers to employees and external customers. And you said, help me stay abreast of leading edge innovation and help me stay ahead of the curve. So I want you to know I heard that feedback, we heard that feedback. And what I want to do this morning is talk about each of these, about how working together we can be transformation partners. So let's start with simplify and automate. Transformation starts with the ability to simplify and streamline a workflow and then automate it. And working together, we have a history in doing that in ITSM. Right? Over the last decade, working together, we've taken what is a highly unstructured, highly distributed, and uncoordinated, and highly manual workflow that no one really likes. And by using the ServiceNow cloud, you've been able to consolidate it, automate it, and increasingly deliver a great consumer experience to your employees. And different ones of you are at different places and different stages in that journey, but it's a journey that you can see the endpoint and you can see the benefits. Now, transforming ITSM has just been the start. Increasingly, you're also transforming all of IT. And you're transforming the way you're delivering services, such as ITSM. You're transforming how IT itself operates as a function. You're transforming delivering projects inside and outside of IT, how you do that. And very importantly, you're transforming how you measure and deliver value. You were very clear that you want to increasingly be able to speak in value terms. And that as you play a more important role, speaking in business value was a key priority. And the value you've been delivering is significant. IT transformations, this is some average data from all of you, are delivering 9-month paybacks, 25% fewer P1 incidents coming in. When a P1 incident comes in, resolving it 2 times faster. 20% of inbound incidents, contacts, are now being handled in an automated or self-help manner. And you know what? Best in class is approaching almost 40%. By the way, that produces efficiency, productivity, and hard dollar savings for your company. And then very, very importantly, what all of that is doing is freeing you up from doing manual tasks and allowing you to focus four times more of your time and energy on the kind of tasks you want to be doing, the value-creating tasks of driving business transformation and process improvement across the company. And so value is there, and we're getting better and better. We're delivering it, and we're getting better and better at jointly being able to demonstrate it. And so IT has been an important starting point for this transformation. And I want you to know that at ServiceNow, we are committed to continuing to invest heavily in your success within IT. In fact, Farrell Huff will be up here tomorrow talking about some exciting new capabilities and features and functions out of the IT cloud service. And we will continue. This will continue to be the core of our core. But 4 or 5 years ago, we began to see something that frankly was led by many of you. that increasingly that same kind of simplify and automate capability that you were applying in IT, you started bringing to workflows outside of IT. Workflows in customer support, workflows in security, workflows in HR. And we began to notice that. And like we've done through the history of this company, we have followed you with our innovation. And so a year ago, as you know, we launched 3 new cloud services: security, customer support, and HR. And over the last year, we have invested heavily at strengthening and building out these cloud services. And you'll hear more about that over the next couple of days. We've also tried to make it easier for you to build applications outside of these areas as well with our business applications capability. Increasingly, you have a need to deliver great customer experiences. And when I use the word customer, I mean internal customers, great employee experiences, and great end customer experiences. And you know, it's something it's really easy to say, but it's really hard to do. And here's why. Simply put, most companies operate as organizations, and most organizational models actually don't necessarily align with driving great customer experiences. Right? Think about it. Most of us are organized in some form or another. If we got business units, maybe the business units have geographic divisions, maybe products in the business unit, or maybe it's a function, maybe technology's in the business unit, or maybe it's a function. You have other functions like sales and marketing and IT and HR and finance. And it's human nature for all of us to actually focus on what we can control. And so departments and business units build great workflows, great processes, right? Departmental workflows. Business unit workflows. Could be called stovepipe workflows, right? And then technology, of course, most of the technology that's been developed over the last 25 years is very departmentally oriented. Financial software, marketing software, HR software, IT software. But the challenge comes, great customer experiences can't be delivered by any one department or any one business unit, right? Great customer experiences require the engagement and involvement across functions, across the organization. And here's the dirty little secret. Customers don't really care what function we're in when we're helping them, right? Think about your own experience. Like when you have something you bought, you have a problem with it, you call the customer support line, and they say, well, I'm sorry, I can't help you. That's a product issue, right? Or you have a billing problem, you call billing. I'm sorry, I can't help you. You got to call customer support, right? That's frustrating. Great customer experiences are seamlessly delivered to them, and they just expect us to figure out how we piece that together across the enterprise, which on the surface is an unnatural act. So what do most companies do? We reorganize, right? We reorganize like once a year. How many people have a company that reorganizes frequently, right? And we're all trying to see if we can organize our way into delivering great customer experiences. And the simple fact of the matter is, organization structure can't do it. The only way you can deliver great customer experiences is to take a mindset that Scott was talking about, a mindset that no one understands better than you and IT, a service management mindset. In my prior life, we called this business process, end-to-end customer business process. Today, it's often called design thinking. It's the same thing. How you begin with the customer's perspective and design a workflow, design a process, design a service all the way through the enterprise. Now, when I was doing this in the 80s and 90s at Bain, technology was not our friend. In fact, most of the technology at the time was mainframe-based, highly siloed, and made it harder, not easier. But the advent of cloud and of mobile has fundamentally changed that. The advent of cloud and mobile now allows technology to help enable that and accelerate that. And there's no cloud platform that was designed cross-functionally, designed with a services mindset more than ServiceNow. That's the core of what Fred Luddy saw in 2004, which is build a platform that's designed for across the organization end-to-end service. And when you combine a service management mindset with the ServiceNow platform, that's the way to deliver great customer experiences. So let's take an example, and I want to take an internal example. How many of you have an initiative in your company where it's an important priority of the company to improve the employee experience, right? I heard that from so many of you, right? And part of this is we're all competing with millennials, and the millennials, we want millennial employees, and millennial employees expect great experiences at work. And what's the first experience most employees have when they join a company? Onboarding, right? Employee onboarding. And employee onboarding is the penultimate example of a highly cross-functional, highly complicated workflow. Think about it. What do you do when you join a company? I know, I did this a month ago, right? You got to get your badge. You get that from security. You got to get your desk. You get that from facilities. You got to get your laptop and your mobile phone. You get that from IT. You got to get on the corporate network and get email going. You get that from another part of IT. You got to get on payroll. You get that from finance. You got to do compliance, and that means you got to get to legal compliance and HR compliance and security compliance and compliance, right? The simple fact of the matter is onboarding requires interacting with 8 to 10 different parts of the organization and multiple platforms and technology systems. I remember doing this 13 years ago when I joined eBay 12 years ago. And it was confusing, it was cumbersome, it was slow, it was frustrating. In fact, the reality is at some point I just quit and asked my assistant to do it for some of me. Well, I will tell you, when I joined ServiceNow a month ago, I saw the power of what a services mindset and a service platform can do. I logged into ServiceNow's employee portal. By the way, that's the same employee portal we use to report IT issues, facilities issues, anything else. There's one place to come. And it's branded by the company. In our case, it was ServiceNow, not because ServiceNow is a technology provider, but because ServiceNow was the company, just as you can brand it in your own company. And it allowed me to go through the onboarding experience in a seamless way. I didn't feel like I was going through 10 different departments, 10 different systems. It made it into a seamless workflow. Now, that required that we seamlessly engage with the other great technology platforms that are part of this. So, for instance, Workday is our HR partner. We love Workday, and we seamlessly integrated into Workday. And so ServiceNow Service Management and Workday's HR platform are highly complementary. And it also, we seamlessly integrate into all the other great platforms, whether it's be SAP or Concur, ADP for processing payroll, all of them. But the goal is to take the full power of all these platforms and deliver it to you in a seamless and effective way. And I was able to, here's the important point, by myself, I was able to onboard in half a day going through that process. And what that then allowed me to do is that much more quickly I could get to what I really wanted to be doing, which was listening to all of you. So that's an example of how you can deliver a great internal experience to your employees using a services management mindset and ServiceNow's platform. But the same can be true delivering great external experiences for your external customers, end customers. And again, I want to use a real live customer example. Ashley Haynes-Gaspar is going to come up here in a minute from GE. And GE, as you know, is one of the great world-class companies with a long history. They build great products. They are truly global. And they're one of the best known, most successful industrial companies in history. But the digital transformation is causing GE's industrial customers to raise their expectations of GE. And in classic GE fashion, the CEO, Jeff Immelt, who is a real role model for me and a mentor for me, is going on offense. He is driving a digital transformation across all of GE. And he has asked Ashley to be the change agent to drive that across all the services. And I think you'll see in a minute, you'll see why he chose her. She's a real dynamo. So we're going to roll a brief video on GE, and then Ashley and Dave will come up and have a conversation about driving that digital transformation.
GE's digital transformation is really about how we transform from a 130-year-old heavy industrial manufacturing company to what we call a digital industrial company.
We have one of the most exciting support jobs in the world. The kind of support that we're delivering really matters. And so we've got to do our job well. We've got to do our job right.
In GE, we're transforming how we provide customer service. We're going to go from 95 systems, and we need to figure out how to go to one. And what's really exciting is that we've chosen ServiceNow as our partner to go with us on that transformation journey. GE selected ServiceNow for a few key reasons. Number one, the platform had the capabilities we were looking for. More importantly, they showed up as partners, and that willingness to partner with us on the future was a key differentiator for the team. Predix is GE's answer for an industrial IoT platform at scale. It has the ability to use big data and analytics in combination with machinery and equipment health information to really deliver enhanced operating outcomes for our customers.
So much about the new customer engagement model moves us away from, I have a set of assets with software on it, and I have to make sure it's always working. And into, not only do I have to make sure it's working, I have to continue to make them better.
The power of automation, the power of data and analytics takes us beyond just fixing passwords. We really start to work on the things that our teams are passionate and trained to do.
All of our industry benchmarking tells us that if we can drive to 10% self-serve, it's worth millions and millions in dollars of productivity. Not only does that provide a more delightful customer experience, but a better business outcome. Everybody wins.
Please welcome back Dave Schneider and Vice President and General Manager, Global Support for GE Digital, Ashley Haynes-Gaspar.
There goes the stairs.
So the description was dynamic, not
Yes.
klutzy. So
Well,
I'm
you
just
know.
gonna,
It's the shoes. I wore my ninja shoes today.
it's good. Let's go attack this.
Okay.
Anyways, I want to just say thank you for being here. And the transformation that GE is on is one that I've been witnessing a little bit from afar and now up close personally.
Yep.
And you can just give some insight into what's really driving this and what the impact is for GE to make this transformation.
I'd be delighted to. You know, I have been with GE for about 20 years. I started when I was 12, for those of you that are trying to do the math. And it is an incredibly exciting time for us in our company. As John mentioned, we are transforming from an industrial company to a digital industrial company. And what that really means is we want to optimize our customers' physical operations through physical science, data, and advanced analytics. We at GE also believe that there is $8.6 trillion in productivity that will be unleashed.
Say a trillion?
Yeah, it always takes $1 trillion to get people to sit forward in their
I feel
seats.
like I should be Dr. Evil right now.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
But $8.6 trillion, and that's a lot of productivity over the next decade. And I know that global support has to show up differently in order to be able to enable those outcomes for our customers. So those of you that may be customers of GE in the room, that have worked with us in the past, you know that we are very vertically organized. And the change that we were embarking on is to really embrace the horizontals. So a customer may have historically purchased software from 4 or 5 different units. That might have been a different support and maintenance agreement, a different 1-800 my stuff is broken, a different process, a different experience. And we're really kind of channeling our inner U2 and our inner Bono, and we are just about one. It is one journey, one experience, one set of tools, one set of processes to drive top-line margin and profit.
So for those of us who spent a lot of time in IT,
Yeah.
it seems like that's a very similar story to how many of our customers have tried to consolidate into one system to manage their world and be responsive to technology, alerting, and giving us better information.
Yeah.
Predix is doing that at huge scale. And then you're being able to take that information in and be actionable about it impacting the customers. It's truly going to be incredible.
It is. You know, we're really excited about Predix. We believe that it helps our customers drive increased operating uptime and efficiency. And I will tell you that the role that ServiceNow is playing for us is really about 2 things. The first is about automation. I know that if I can drive 10% of self-serve or case deflection, that is worth tens of millions of dollars for me a year, let alone the 40% that John referenced in his opener. The other thing that I will tell you about customer support is that we're touching our customers 15 to 20 times more than the average salesperson. And we know that selling doesn't help, but helping sells. And there is a tremendous commercial engine that can be unlocked with the power and the analytics that we're in partnership developing together to put in the hands of our agents.
It's going to be. So I want to make sure I want to complete the loop. So
Yeah.
you're thinking about self-help, the way, again, IT, HR, call deflection, really important to get people efficient, knowledge bases. And then my understanding is people can actually log into the system, understand the health of their environments, and the agents will be aware of the situations as or before the customers are going to call in.
That's exactly right. So this is not just about transforming a customer experience, which today, among my 15,000 friends in the room, can be a little reactive. It's about this journey to predictive and how we're going to use ServiceNow to unlock that productivity, not only for our customers so they know that we have them, but also for our agents. You know, when they have one dashboard that talks about the health of that customer, how many cases they've had historically, what their history of escalations are, it helps us show up in more helpful ways, which is part of our transformation and journey in delivering those outcomes for customers.
So I'd be remiss to say, what was the role of IT in helping you, who's running this unified customer service experience, in driving both the awareness of a service management approach and then linking it together?
Yeah, like IT and customer success are going to be like the new besties. This is like, you heard it here first. And I think what IT brings to the table is a real focus on business process, innovation, and continuous improvement. And they live at this intersection of the interconnectedness and interdependency of everything. And they have very, very deep pockets and rich insights around business and operations from a data perspective. When you think about the partnership with a function like customer success and customer support, we have exceptionally deep pockets and different sets of data, which is really around that customer's experience and what drives their profitability and their uptime. So when I think about this magic and this pairing between our 2 teams, number one, not only do we need to leverage all of the CIOs in the room who have been on this journey from an ITSM perspective to help us go, but bringing our respective experiences and insights together helps unlock net new value for our customers and net new service streams for our companies. And that's a great proposition.
So that partnership between IT and the stovepipes that John described, really trying to understand the use case and the need and making sure the technology mapped to that, which is really, I think, the way to be relevant for everybody in the room. I'd be remiss without actually commenting on a couple things. So John mentioned he has 1 daughter. I have 2.
Yep.
Right. So and my girls go to a school where they're learning computer science in 7th grade,
Yep.
which is phenomenal because we're trying to prepare them for the next generation. GE is doing some amazing things to really drive an initiative. Can you tell me about the 2020 program and what's going on there?
I'd be delighted to. I have such a deep heart space for women in technology and for girls in technology. And when we look at the tech giants, the workplace is only comprised of about 17 to 24% female. And we can do better. Yep. And GE's committed to doing better. So what we have said is that we will have 20,000 women in technology by 2020. And our entry-level development programs will be 50-50 women. Can I get an amen from all the ladies in the room? Yeah.
How about an amen for all the men in the room? I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So 20,000 20,000 technology women at GE by 2020. Entry-level programs, and you're doing even more than that because we've also shared a little bit of this story. Please let us know.
Yeah. So the funnel is absolutely about 2020, but for me, it starts before then, and all the data says girls lose interest in STEM in middle school. So what we've done, I lead the Women's Network for the Western region of the United States for GE, is we've activated at the local level. And we have developed a series of events in a box. Be my parting gift to everyone in the room if you want to figure out how to activate in your communities. But basically what it is you invite middle school girls in for the day. Our number is 75. And they engage in reimagining a smart zoo. So they start with design thinking. They do persona and empathy-based design. You know, a monkey that's lonely, a tiger that's not getting enough exercise. They imagine how software might help solve those issues, and then by the end of the day, they're actually slinging some code, some Scratch on a Raspberry Pi, and coming out of it, they learn the value and process of empathy. They learn the value and process of iteration, and that failure is okay because you try again. And we see these little girls come in, leave with coding skills, but more importantly, leave with swagger, and that's just so important and so critical.
It is, and I know in our workplace, we did a kids coding clinic actually taught by members of our community, actually their children, teaching other children how to code.
Yeah.
The power of watching them come together to solve problems, that just joy of doing it, and I know that also the confidence of my daughters now knowing computer science and being able to program and be able to take that into their lives going forward is going to really give them a lot. And you know, most of us may not have picked up coding early enough. I think doing it in middle school sounds like a great idea. So,
and you know what that makes you in my book?
Uh-oh.
You're a first-class man-ambassador.
Oh, okay. Okay. If you know Ashley at all, you know that I just got off really easy. So that's all good. But you know, we're really excited, and the people here can take it back to their schools, their church groups, other community events, and really do stuff with it, which is phenomenal.
Yep.
So, you know, we're reimagining and trying to be more effective at getting work done at GE. And I think it would be fun if we brought one of our members from the Inspire team, Jake, up here to actually show some of the things that we're doing with Service Portal to try to give a different experience for the customer service team that's going to be working on the projects with GE. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely. I would love that.
So, Jake. So you guys all probably thought you were going to get away without seeing product today, right? Was that some part of your goal? No. So we thought it'd be fun for Jake to be able to show a new dashboard or a new way that people could work. And what he's showing is actually applicable not just in the customer service world, but for IT service management, HR service management. So Jake, why don't you take a couple minutes and give us a little background?
Thank you, Dave. So first, ServiceNow has partnered with GE Digital Global Support to create this engaging experience for both agents and customers. So I'd like to show you the agent experience and really a preview of things to come.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Okay.
So this screen doesn't look like my old historical ServiceNow. I don't see that big drop-down stuff on the side. Tell me what's going on.
You're right, Dave. So we use the Service Portal technology with customer service to really create this engaging, personalized experience for the agent. It's important for the customer, but it's also important for our employees. So they have the insights and information they need to get work done. Let me show you.
Great.
So first, on the left, they have their work and their cases right at their fingertips. And on the bottom, their queues, and their activity. And in the center, they have clear visibility into their customers and how those customers are doing, and the software services those customers rely on. They have that connected view into performance and availability. They don't have to reach out to you and ping operations to say, hey, where's this thing? Or go dig into information in other systems. It's right there. These are the sort of insights, Dave, that we've enabled.
So I'm actually curious, from your perspective, when you're going from 90 plus systems to one, what's the day in the life like going to be now for your customer service people, and what's the goal here on efficiency?
Well, it'll be a hell of a lot easier for sure, because what this provides is really a single source of truth for what our customers are experiencing and where they are in the journey with us. And what's really incredible about what Jake has shown here on the screen is that they have a one-stop shop that really helps them understand where a customer is at in their journey with us and the experience that they're having, so that when they call, we're not having to ask those questions.
Makes sense.
That's great. And it's not a demo if we don't have some sort of technical problem. So what we're trying to do here is simulate a problem. And it's not happening.
Well, it's ServiceNow. Sometimes it just waits a second. Sorry, that was a performance joke.
Oh my gosh, look.
Hey, there it is. So, Jake, one of the things I noticed is the screen just changed, so give us some insight.
You're right, it's funny you mentioned that. I didn't set it up at all. Let me tell you what's going on. So first, it looks like one of the services is having an issue. And there's 5 customers impacted. And as we wait for technology to keep coming up, I'm just going to keep trying to roll with this so you can see that service, I have that performance and availability information, we're not trending in the right direction anymore. So if I click on the service, from an operations perspective, my agent can get right into the details. They get that Service 360 view. I have the information from engineering. Is there a patch available? Is there a release coming up, a change planned? They have all of that activity and information to do their job, things that I might get a call about as an agent. I have, say, standard operating procedures, my technical information letter. And at the top, you'll see I have some performance degradation with this service. It's going in the wrong direction. I also have a probability of failure. The system's telling me, hey, I have all this connected insight. I can tell you something's going to happen. So we've proactively notified the customers, created cases for them, and now the agent has that information before the customer calls in. Let's go into the case and look at some more details. Now, I'm going to pause for just a moment. Now, some of you may have noticed, but we're using the service portal here, the service portal technology with customer service. The agent can actually work on more than one thing at a time, more than one active case. So Dave, did you notice at the top?
I saw something.
There's some tabs.
That's pretty cool. Who else wanted tabs for a long time? I think that's pretty awesome, so thank you.
Yeah.
So, again, back to your reality.
Yeah.
When you have this kind of experience for your employees, the goal is really to be, one of the things you said is, the agent already, or the customer's bringing this in, the agent was already aware of the issue.
Yep.
That's a pretty different experience for me, at least, when I've been when I've made customer service phone calls.
Yeah. So what's really special about what Jake and the team are showing here is a few things. I think number one, it helps us move from reactive to proactive and then ultimately to predictive, which is where the name of the game is. I think the other thing that I would say is that this is a silo buster for us. When you're in the software business, a customer may call with an issue, and our desire is one-touch resolution, right? Because that's a delightful customer experience. But the reality is, sometimes we have to work with engineering, sometimes we have to work with product management. Much to the message that John was delivering, we're cutting across stacks. And what this gives us the availability to do is to really understand what that customer's experience is, get very quickly to what that root cause is, and then in a transparent way, understand where we are in solving that customer issue so that they don't feel like it's hot potato and being thrown over the wall, but they feel that continuity in service and that we are there for them and we have their back in getting them back online and operating.
Yeah, the thing that's great, I know that we use ServiceNow to do this ourselves, and being able to find root cause,
Yep.
right? Being able to take that issue, get back to root cause, tell the customer that there may be a patch or an issue, opportunity to fix, is really empowering for
Yep.
everybody.
That's exactly right.
Thanks, Dave. And that's a great setup for my next segue. So I'm going to show you a couple more things, and then I'll get out of your way.
Okay.
All right, thanks. So you'll notice at the very top, sorry, let's go back. This technology thing is throwing me for a loop. There's a few visual indicators. I've got a visibility into the timeline. How long has this case been open? How long do I have to respond? And now, at the bottom, I have two things I want to highlight. First, I have related cases. The customer service agent can work on more than one customer at the same time and proactively notify them. So the system created that case. The agent also has this thing called a solution found, this little helper to say, hey, we have these insights into engineering, into operations. I know there's a known error related to this issue. There's a patch already available, and there's this change scheduled for tonight. I can say with confidence, I can attach the solution, notify those customers all at the same time, and let them know that GE Digital Global Support is on that case. So the agent has this very personalized experience, connected view into operations, and they have the tools they need to provide this proactive, world-class support. What do you think, Dave? Ashley?
I'll tell you what I love about this. What I love about this is it takes our support function, which typically has been a backroom operation, that, they're tough jobs. These agent jobs are really, really tough experiences. And it helps us transform to be more front room oriented, where we are part of delivering that outcome for customers. We are part of driving that adoption and the renewal and the expansion with the accounts. And with that, that makes us part of the growth function for GE, and having ServiceNow as partners with us in that is pretty awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for helping us.
Yep.
Very much. Sorry about the
Dave.
technical issues.
Thanks, Jake.
So one of the things is, one of the things, John, you mentioned this when in the opening remarks about what Fred's vision of the company was, transforming, and making workflow through the enterprise. The other thing that you said, which was so important, is how we partner with customers to actually build solutions, to take their ideas, reflect them in the product, iterate, show back, iterate again, and then be committed to that outcome. And I really appreciate GE's partnership with us in helping to think through customer service in new ways and deliver this great experience for you.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure.
And Ashley, I love your leadership driving GE to be the digital industrial company of the future, and also love your leadership on women's issues.
Oh, thank you very much.
And tomorrow, as you know, we're going to be having a Women in Technology lunch. It's an issue I personally care about, and I'll be moderating that, and we'll have a representative from GE and other leading companies. So I encourage any of you that want to join. It's at noon tomorrow, and not just women. Let's have men.
Yep.
It's an important opportunity we need to tackle together. So how about a big round of applause for Ashley? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks. I won't need help getting down.
I'll hold you up.
So is that great or what? And how about when you're on stage and the technology doesn't work in front of 15,000 people and you're nervous? How about the way he responded, huh? How about a big... That's real-time fire. All right, the third thing you wanted to talk about and you asked for help on is, we all know that technology is not standing still, right? The pace of change of technology is accelerating. And there are new technologies coming on almost daily these days. And think about 5 years ago. Think about big data, predictive analytics, Internet of Things. Those were all cutting-edge concepts then. And you saw that GE is actually applying all of those to serve their customers. So what are the cutting-edge things to today? Artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, Rapid process automation. How many of you have had your CEO or one of your bosses come back from some conference and say, we need to be doing artificial intelligence in our company, and that we need you guys to build the artificial intelligence thing so we can use it? Anyone had that? Yeah, I heard several of you mention that when I visited with you. How many of you think their bosses have any idea what artificial intelligence is? Right, heard it at a conference, sounds good. Well, here's what I heard you say to us, and here was the specific question. How's ServiceNow going to use machine learning to help me address one of the fundamental priorities I have, which is to go from a world where we're alerting and responding to one where we're predicting and preventing problems. You heard Ashley talk about it. Predicting and preventing is the next frontier. And I want you to know two things. One, at ServiceNow, we do view it as our job to stay abreast of the leading edge technologies and ensure that they are integrated into our platform so that you can easily and conveniently access them, and so that you don't have to build all the same capabilities, but rather you can use them in your world. And specifically, let's just take machine learning. Our goal is to build, partner, or buy whatever is necessary. So on machine learning, we've had some machine learning capability on our platform in the ITOM area for a couple of years. And as many of you know, we partner with IBM's Watson to get some of their machine learning capabilities on your behalf. And then 6 months ago, we saw an opportunity to augment that with a great team of world-class machine learning data scientists that had some great technology, a company called DX Continuum. So we acquired them 6 months ago, and during the last 6 months, they've been doing what every acquisition we do does, re-platforming into the ServiceNow platform. So you aren't dealing with multiple platforms, you're dealing with one platform, and everyone gets that machine learning capability in a seamless way. But you challenge us to not do what others do, which is sort of build a capability, build a solution, and then search for problems. But rather, you were specific on the 4 problems you wanted us to address. You wanted us to say, where can you predict where problems will occur? Predicting performance. How can you prevent those future issues? And if you can do that in an automated way, all the better. How can you categorize and route work? And then importantly, back to this value point, how can we benchmark against our peers? And so our machine learning team has been working on these specific issues, applying your data and our data, our collective ecosystem data, so that you can have out-of-the-box functionality on machine learning. Simply put, we want to sort of bring machine learning to your everyday work. And I'm thrilled to announce that today, we're going to have a big new video. I'm thrilled to announce with that boom, which surprised even me, the ServiceNow Intelligent Automation Engine, which is taking this capability, building it into the ServiceNow platform, and making it available for all of you. So I'd like to invite and ask you to join me to welcome Dave Wright, ServiceNow's Chief Strategy Officer, to come up and tell you a lot more about this exciting new launch.
Morning. So John introduced the concept of what the Intelligent Automation Engine was focused on. What we get to do now is kind of pull back the covers a little bit and maybe geek out a little bit around the technology that sits underneath it, try and explain how some of this works, and try and explain what the business value is to you as customers to actually be able to use this. So the first point John made is very valid. What we didn't want to do is we didn't want to go through the whole process of building a technology and then looking for a solution. So what we did was we looked at what we could do to actually start to make things functionally better for you. How could we address very specific business needs to prevent issues happening, to be able to predict and understand what's there, to be able not just to categorize and route work, but to be able to derive values for one field based on what's in another, potentially predict risk, look at what could happen from a security perspective, because we can apply this technology to every module that we have. Allow you to be able to validate that you are doing a good job, and then finally allow you to understand when you are going to get to the levels that you wanted to get to. So let's dig into each of these a little bit and talk about what it means on a day-to-day basis. For a long time now, people have managed events. You've had a number of services that you've needed to support. And those services are made up of individual CIs or groups of CIs that constantly provide information being thrown out to the system, be it from simple SNMP alerts to some of the more complex alert protocols that we currently have being generated now. So when those alerts come out, what you do is you respond to them. Hey, it's telling me to do something, I need to investigate this, I need to understand exactly what's happening within the system. But what if you could start to apply some technology to this? And what if you could start to say, hey, I can start to spot how these events are somehow related to each other. I can start to correlate that there's some kind of relationship going on between things. Because what happens now is I get to understand what the disease is, not the symptom. I get to be able to focus on whereabouts I'm going to fix things. So the first thing we're going to look at is how these alerts get correlated. And the first thing I want to show you is a brand new type of alert. First alert we got through is something called an anomaly alert. Now, traditionally, alerts have been very binary. An alert either happens or it doesn't. What we can say now is we can say, hey, we've been looking at the historical data on the system, and this is unusual. This is either happening at a time we wouldn't expect it to happen, it's happening at a level we wouldn't want it to happen, or it's happening with a frequency that we wouldn't expect. Now, in this case, we're getting too many user threads that are sitting on a system. It could be that we're not freeing the threads when people go off. It could be that there's just a lot of people on the system. But the end result of this is we end up with a traditional high CPU alert, which could mean we get degradation on the server, it could mean the server collapses, but fundamentally, we've been given a warning that something's going to happen on the system. So that in itself is very cool. Now we've started to look at how we isolate root cause analysis, how we start to get to areas where we can resolve issues quicker than we could before. But that's kind of half the story, because if you know this, if you've been able to isolate this, then it gets more exciting, because now we have a precursor. What we can do now is we can predict an event before it happens. And we can predict it with a degree of accuracy. So here we're saying, because I've seen this and I've seen this, I'm going to say with a 76.8 or 78.6% probability, we're potentially going to lose this service in the next 2 hours. So think about that. What you have now is you have the potential to create an incident for something that hasn't happened yet, but something that the system believes with a high level of confidence will happen. Now, the whole theme of this as you look around is Lightspeed. I don't even know what the word for this is. When you fix something before it happens, I mean, that's pretty fast. So the concept of being able to not just generate that ticket, but be able to apply some color to that ticket and be able to start to use machine learning techniques to categorize, to prioritize, to predict severity, that's something we can do when we start to look at what we do around the categorization and routing of work. So this, as an alert, came in from an event management system. So we don't need to categorize it, we don't need to give it a subcategory, but we don't necessarily know how important it is. Normally you'd have a group, and that group would go through a triage process. And they'd decide, yes, this is where we need to spend our resources. But what if we could use machine learning technology and actually look at what we've done with these in the past and start to let the machine understand what the severity could be? Now, we're just looking at severity. In this case, we could use it for any fields that are related. If it was someone just typing in a description, we could start to categorize it. But how do we do that from a technology perspective? So what we do is we take an extract from your system, and we pull that out and we produce what we call a training data set. Now, the training data set has the fields that we're going to use to actually isolate the field that's a target for us. So in this case, the training set is going to have the application name, it's going to have the description, and it's also going to have the severity. And what we do is we take between 50 and 100,000 of these records, and we run them through the system thousands and thousands of times to actually start to develop a model that you can then deploy in your production environment. Now, when we've got to the point of being satisfied with the results that we get, the next thing that we do is look at what we call an evaluation data set. Now, an evaluation data set is exactly the same set of data, but it doesn't have the target on it. So what we do now is we use the same model that we built before to go through that data, and what we try and do is isolate what the severity is based on key fields that are actually part of that program. So you can see now we're going through, we're working out what the severity is. If we get to the endpoint, we can say, okay, we're going to move this into production. We're happy with the results. We have the right level of confidence. If we don't have the right level of confidence, then we can say we're just going to run training again and get to a much higher level of confidence by repeating that training process. So I'm pretty happy now. Happy bunny. To use the colonial and the colloquial, I'm kicking ass on incidents. I'm fixing things before they even start. But it's all right for me to feel good about myself. What I need to do is I need to prove to people that we are actually delivering the results that we wanted to. So what we've done is we've taken all the data that we've got on incidents, and we've been able to pull that back into the system and generate benchmarks. So what you can do now is you can start to compare yourself to your peers. And it could be peers that are in the same industry vertical. It could be peers that are in the same company size range. But you can see how you compare to those people. And in this case, I was right to be happy. I look at incidents. Yeah, I'm doing good in incidents. Everyone else is taking 9 hours. I'm taking 8 hours. I can look at the trends and say, well, not only am I doing better, but I'm also on a good trend. I'm also continually improving. So this is a very powerful tool to be able to go to your CIO, or if you're a CIO, go to the CEO and say, hey, look at what we're actually achieving at this point. So it's demonstrable proof that you're playing in the right area. But for me, I kind of don't want to present it yet because I want to be the king of green. And there's a lot of red on this. So how can I actually go through and start to improve some of the areas where you're seeing this redness appear on these benchmarks? Now, if I go through and look at what's happening from a problem perspective, this is where I start to see some of the issues. So here I can see that I'm not actually performing that well from a problem perspective. I'm taking 4 days to fix something. The industry average is 3 days. So what can I do to actually improve this? Because the worst thing about this is the trend's actually going the wrong way. I'm actually getting worse at this. So I need to start to dig in and understand when I'm going to actually achieve the targets that I want to achieve. So what we've done is Carl's team over in the Netherlands and the US has looked at how they can increase the functionality that we get with performance analytics to actually allow us to be able to predict performance. So for years, you've been able to run reports. Hey, this is where we were, this is where we are, this is how we got there. And that's pretty cool. You can understand what you've done in the past. But it's a lagging indicator. It shows what you've already done, what's already happened. Then we introduced performance analytics. Now, performance analytics allowed us to set a benchmark. So we could say, this is where we want to get to. And you could look at the delta between where you wanted to get to and whereabouts you were. And you could see how that delta was changing. So this now moved to a leading indicator. You could start to do things in advance. What we can do now is we can actually use mathematical algorithms to be able to project out along this, to be able to predict when you'll hit the level that you want to hit. So how do we do this? What we do is we look at your historical data. So we take the data from the system, and we run various mathematical algorithms across that data. So we could be running a projection algorithm. We could be running seasonal trend lows algorithms. We could be doing also regression and moving average algorithms, or the ARIMA process they use in the stock markets. And what we do is we look at what model actually best addresses that data trend. Now, when we isolate that model, what we can say at that point is, this is the model that we're going to use to do the prediction going forward. We can then take the data, and when we take the data, we can use the same process to be able to project out and actually show you when you're going to reach the target that you want to reach. Or, worst case scenario, show you that you're never going to reach that target. And if you want to know what to do if you're never going to reach that target, then if you go to Farrell Huff's session later on today, she'll talk about what you can do to actually start to move this from being what we call predictive into the next phase of evolution, which is where it becomes prescriptive. So where we actually get to the point where we can say, you're not achieving what you want to achieve, but if you tried some of these solutions, these will put you on the right path. And as we move further through future releases, we'll actually start to be able to use things like modeling capability. So what would happen if I changed things? How could I actually alter this projection? So if you look at all these in conjunction working together, just like one quick question to the crowd. I mean, is this like the tiniest bit useful for you, do you think, when you're actually trying to run this in a production environment? This is going to be technology that has global impact. If I look at things from my job perspective, I'm a strategist. It says I'm a strategist on my business card, so I must be. And the art of strategy is part futurologist and part realist, to look at what's happening out there, look at what happens from an IT perspective, and be able to understand how that applies to your business. And hopefully you get it right more than you get it wrong, or you're not in strategy, you're just in guessing, and that's not a good business. If you can get what this is actually doing and bring it back into the whole core of the business, then what that allows you to do is be able to address some of the challenges that we face going forward. Because if you wonder why this is important, it's important for a few reasons. The first reason is we're not going to get less data than we used to get. It's not going to get any better than it is now. We've got a survey that we'll release later on today where we surveyed 1,850 execs. And one of the questions we asked them was, when are you going to reach a work breaking point? Where are we going to get to the point where there's too much work to handle and you need different technology to deal with this? And when we looked at those survey results, 87% of people said it was going to happen by 2020. But the more interesting figure for me was 32% of them said it had happened in the middle of next year. At that point, there'd be too much work to actually cope with. And you're starting to see concepts now where people are saying, well, is IT going to manage IoT? Because now we've got all these different systems that are all using the same type of alert technology to send information through. So when I've got IP addressable light bulbs sending me messages, light bulb 16, I'm on. Light bulb 32, I'm off. Light bulb 412, I'm broken. Sad light bulb emoji. It's probably millennial light bulb. How am I going to deal with that, and how am I going to cope with everything that comes through on that perspective? You need this type of technology. What happens is, we debated for a while, is artificial intelligence, is machine learning, is this whole concept that we call intelligent automation, is it going to be something that's actually just something that's a flash in the pan, or is it going to be something that is useful? And when you start to look at the way data quality is changing and the way data quantity is changing, you start to understand it's not just going to become a nice to have, it's going to become a necessity. This is going to be the oxygen that helps your business live in the next 4 years. This is going to be what's essential for you to be able to cope with workloads that come through the system. So I'm very happy that I'm here to experience this and to see this come to life and to see how this works in a real-world environment. And around 20 years ago, a very wise man who's not here today introduced me to an old Chinese proverb. And the old Chinese proverb said, "May you live in interesting times." But I'll leave you, ladies and gentlemen, with this one quote. I don't believe there's a more interesting time to live than the time that we live in now, and look at the effects that technology like this is going to have both on business and on the way that we live. And with that, I thank you.
job. Great job. So is that cool or what? Huh? That. You can go back to your bosses now and say that you have seen how machine learning and artificial intelligence can be applied in a practical way, and that you will be bringing that into your workplace through the ServiceNow platform. I think the potential is just awesome. And you get a chance to hear a lot more about our machine learning capability in all of our product portfolio over the next couple days. We have topic keynotes this afternoon in the customer support and HR products. Tomorrow morning's keynote on this stage, CJ Desai, our Chief Product Officer, will be sharing his product vision and the roadmap ahead so that you can have a clear understanding of it. And then tomorrow afternoon, we'll also have topic keynotes on IT and on security. And then on Thursday, it's Developer Day, CreatorCon. Pat Casey, our chief architect, will be hosting the event for the cool kids, the developers, and talking about how our platform, and Pat and his team are investing to make the platform even more robust so you can build exciting new applications and businesses on top of it. So I encourage you to attend those sessions. Now, before I wrap up, I have a few people I need to and want to thank. First of all, our diamond sponsors, KPMG and Accenture. This conference would not be possible without them. And they are both pillars in our partner ecosystem. And they'll be hosting their own sessions, KPMG later on today at 11:30 in the Chapin Theater. And then Accenture will be having a session tomorrow at the same time before lunch in the Chapin Theater. So I encourage you to attend those. And again, we thank you for being our primary sponsors. And we also have a number of other people that have been great sponsors of this conference. And what we appreciate is not just financially supporting a conference like this, it's actually the engagement being part of our partner ecosystem. A robust ecosystem that's here to make our community stronger. So I encourage you to go out to the Partner Expo and you'll see many of the cool applications and innovations and new businesses that are being built to help you get more value out of the ServiceNow platform. So let me just wrap up. What we've been talking about today is digital transformation. Almost every company in every industry in every part of the world is embracing the digital revolution, both strategically in our desire to innovate and deliver to your own customers, but also across the enterprise. And we've talked about how at the end of the day, digital transformation is about delivering great experiences to employees and customers, doing that by streamlining and automating workflows across the enterprise, customer-facing and otherwise, and then using technology, leading-edge technology like machine learning to deliver delightful experiences. And when we think about what's possible and what the enterprise will look like not many years down the road, that's where we come with the phrase working at Lightspeed. The ability to provide great experiences for customers, employees, and work in a seamless and effective way. So I want to wrap up and close where I began, with all of you. At the end of the day, technology and machines and automation are very exciting advancements. But it comes down to people at the end of the day. It comes down to the people that use those to improve our lives, improve the lives of our customers and our employees, and that is you. And this is a wonderful community. It's a rich community with a rich history. We have many examples of great leadership being exhibited within the community through the SMUG groups and online communities, through our MVPs. One of the things I love about this conference, 85% of the content is customers sharing with customers, partners sharing with customers. It's driven by you. In fact, we have 275 customers that'll be leading sessions over the next couple of days. And I thank you. It's a lot of work to do that, and I thank you for your willingness to share with each other. And so I want to encourage you over the next couple of days. I hope you get inspired by some of what you hear and see. I hope you learn from us and from each other. And most importantly, I hope you connect with one another. Because the only way to lead a transformation is with a revolution. The only way to lead a revolution is with a robust and strong community. So reach out, enjoy each other, have fun, and learn a lot. And I hope everyone has a great Knowledge 17. Thank you very, very much.